we're reaching the point where it's, in the last 6 months, has been more and more, and we're reaching that real crucial period where we really, really do need the prayers of our church family for both of us.
What's something specific that our people could pray for you for?
That I would pray that they would pray that I could continue to have the strength, and I would be able to keep her here at home till it's all the time if possible, if not as long as possible, and that I'd even grow more patience and more compassion.
What about things we could pray for Margaret?
That she'd be comfortable. Right now, she used to have lots of headaches, she used to have lots of arthritis pain, she used to have stomach aches, she used to have all these things. But right now, she basically has no pain, no problems physically, basically. She's having some back pain now, and I think that's from her. She's getting some spinal compressions, and it's probably putting some pressure on some nerves and things, but there's not anything we can really do about it. And just that we could remain
It was working in the rain?
working in the rain.
Is that what you said?
No.
Oh.
That we
You're liable to get tired. You better get the chair set.
that we could continue as we are until it's till it's done. And one of my prayers always has been that I would be able to keep my strength up and be able to be healthy enough that I could take care of her throughout the rest of the time. I don't want to go before she does.
Going backwards, when you were a young guy getting married, did you ever foresee anything like this? Did anything like this
Yes.
cross your mind? And start and just tell us.
Well, see, I really think that a lot of this dementia stuff is hereditary and runs in families. And you don't know who's going to get it, and at that early age you would have no idea. But her grandmother on her dad's side spent many years in the nursing home with dementia.
If you're tired, why don't you just sit down?
Then her, of course this was long after we were married, but then her dad got the same way, and he run about 8 or 9 years. And now hers has been at least 12. And I think it's probably, basically she was in real good health before, and it didn't, physically and everything, and so she's been able to go longer than what most of the others have. And that's, but even if I would have known that she was going to do like her grandmother and like her father did, I would have still married her for the wonderful, beautiful years we had leading up to that. Can't ever take that away. And we're still happy and blessed.
If you had to give, without knowing the situation, but if you had to give advice to a married couple who was struggling in their relationship, not necessarily specific advice for their specific problem, but just from somebody who's been married 57 years and gone through some of the things you've gone through, what would you say to them?
I don't know what you mean there, really, but I think they've got to be open with each other, and they have to talk things, not let things get bottled up inside of them. And if some little thing seems to be not exactly the way you'd want, you need to say it, you know. And like I said, it cannot be it's got to be 100% for each other. It just can't be anything else.
I look at your situation, and I think for a number of years it was probably 100. But I think now it looks like 100-0. And
No.
you're still giving 100.
No. When she says that, you take such good care of me, and she reaches over in the middle of the night and pats me on the shoulder and says, I love you. That's the other 100%. All that she's got, she's not given 10% of what she's got. What she's capable of, she's still given 100%.
Oh, I wonder where Kleenexes are.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right.
No, they're dry. They're going down the neck.
Oh, well, that's okay. That won't hurt. Still concerned
Another
about
example
you.
of
See that?
that's
That's
another example.
You know, the biggest fear, I tell you, and I forgot to say that, but this has been like 15 years, 12 years that other people could tell, but you know what the hardest ones were? You asked me about this 100 and 100. The hardest years were the first about 4 or 5. Because she knew she was getting that way. She knew she was going to be just like her father, her dad. And I'd wake at night and hear her crying. And she would say, all my grandchildren are ever going to remember me as that crazy old woman. That's all they're going to remember. They won't remember me the way I was before. And that went on for several years. They finally gave her enough medicine that she didn't say that anymore. But then she lost down to about 80 pounds. She wouldn't eat and would sleep 20 out of 24 hours a day. And that's probably when a lot of the things when she quit coming to church, Chris, because she would sleep till 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock in the evening. And after 4 or 5 years, well, I got to thinking, well, she doesn't remember. So she's not going to need those darn things. And we tapered those off and quit. And she still sleeps a lot, but I think it's mostly because she's weak. And usually she'll get up at 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock, and back to bed at 10:30. But she's a lot better than she was those first 4 years. That was the toughest years.
What were those? That's what it was like for her those first 4 years. What was it like for you the first 4 years?
Well, trying to explain to her, I spent a lot of time trying to, I said, yes, they will remember. They'll remember you the way you were, and we just take it, and we can't worry about what's out here. We take today for today and tomorrow for tomorrow. We take it one day at a time. If that happens, we'll still be together. We'll still be together, and we'll have each other. So, yeah, those were the worst. She doesn't do that anymore. She doesn't ask about her parents anymore. She used to spend a lot of nights, spend a long time asking me about her mother, her dad, or where they at, and are they in the other room, or are they here, or they're not dead, are they? And I say, yeah, about 30 years ago, you know. But she doesn't do that anymore. So it's a lot easier as it's now. It may be harder in some ways, but it's easier in other ways too.
What things does she remember?
Nothing. She doesn't remember a single trip that we ever made. We traveled all over the United States, and she doesn't remember a single one, right up even to the ones we made in 2003 was the last trip I think we made, big trip. She didn't remember any of them. She didn't remember.
She knows you?
Yes. And I think she recognizes a lot of the people. And sometimes I don't know whether she knows which one it is, Donna or Pam or one of our grandchildren, but when they come and love on her, she loves them back and say, "Oh yeah, glad to see you," and oh, you know, so. No, on her, in Margaret's case, she's not only lost short-term memory, which is typical, but she's lost all long-term too. She doesn't remember anything about growing up or any of her pets or any of her dogs. And most people they'll say, you know, they'll recall lots of events that happened 40 years ago. She doesn't. She can no more describe our marriage.
Don't you want to sit down? He's quiet. So why don't you get you some?
Wait a minute. Okay.
Did you get it?
Good.